Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Animefied. Today, let's look at an anime called Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Time. Let's begin. The decennial tournament known as the Grand Fighting Competition gets underway, and we are at the final square. An overpowered warrior named Peter Grill battles a demon lord. Peter wishes for his childhood crush Princess Luvelia Sanctos to become one with him, so he takes on the beast and the furious display of power. The warrior gives it his all and manages to take off the demon's horn, after which he finally wins the competition. However, the unsuspecting warrior is unaware of what lies ahead for him. Peter is very excited about this new victory entitled, so he rushes to meet Luvelia. However, he is interrupted by an ogre girl named Mimi Alpacas, who congratulates him on becoming the strongest man on the planet. Things take a hilarious turn when she asks him for his seed and Peter becomes embarrassed by this. Then Mimi's older sister Lisa drops by to control the situation. Unfortunately, she is the one who starts demanding for Peter's essence even more aggressively. The girls become very creepy, but Peter manages to create a distraction and escapes from their clutches now. He quickly makes his way to Luvelia at the church so that they can discuss their marriage. She also wants to have a baby with Peter, but she doesn't seem to know how the process works. Peter goes back to the inn to get some rest, but then he's surrounded by Lisa and Mimi. He tries to throw them away, but his tactics don't work and our hero is forced to give him to his desires and awaken this inner beast. The girls enjoyed themselves while Peter cries. The next morning, as he was unable to control himself, things take a turn for the worst when Luvelia comes knocking at his door with the girls still in the room. Peter acts fast and kicks the ogres into his closet before opening the door. He manages to convince Luvelia that he was just exercising in the morning, and then she asks him for support, as she goes to convince her father Albatross for their marriage. Unfortunately, the king angrily declines her suggestion and threatens to kill Peter for deceiving his daughter with his charm. However, Luvelia says that this is her decision, so the king has no other option but to accept and bless their union. He orders for the celebrations to begin and then the lovebirds share an emotional moment. However, Peter remembers his fling with the ogres and worries that his secret will get exposed. Girls visit him after the party to congratulate him on his engagement, but mention that they want another session tonight. Peter refuses to do so, but they threaten to expose their fling if he doesn't continue with their arrangement. They get busy straight away, but then Peter hears his fiancée approaching, so he hides the girls under the table. His deception works at first, but then Albatross arrives and demands to take his seat. Peter cannot afford to expose the girls or his bottom, so he tries to act tough in front of his sworn enemy. The confused king doesn't believe his attitude, but Luvelia does, so she asks her father to leave them alone for now. Peter tries to be romantic with her, but the girls between his legs keep teasing him. Luckily, the princess leaves to tend to her angry dad, so Peter can breathe a sigh of relief. However, Lisa and Mimi become naughty again and awaken his inner beast. Peter makes the same mistake with the girls and laments his decision the next morning. Meanwhile, another girl named Vegan Adorio seems to set her eyes on our hero. We see Luvelia finally telling Peter that she's ready to have a baby, but then her dad shows up and he panics. Luckily, this turns out to just be a dream and our hero wakes up next to the elf girl. He gets into an argument with her but is caught by Tim Robinson, who hilariously promises to not expose this dirty secret before casually leaving them alone. Peter learns that Vegan has come here to acquire his essence, just like Lisa and Mimi. She reveals that the only reason she is doing this is to keep the elf bloodline alive and strong against foreign enemies. Now Vegan demands his seed, but Peter argues that she's not good enough to awaken his beast. Seeing no other option, the elf girl casts a forbidden spell on Peter and guarantees that she will have her way with him. However, our hero passes it off as a simple prank. Now we see Luvelia and her knights in the forest, but they get attacked by the overpowered worm goblin. Peter is alerted of this attack and sets out to rescue the woman of his dreams. The soldiers are easily defeated by the monster, but Luvelia refuses to abandon her post as a knight. Unfortunately, she is captured and about to be defiled, so she calls out to her lover to rescue her. Peter rides through the forest with a sense of urgency and makes it to the scene. Just in time, he manages to rescue his fiancée by slashing the monster's arms, but is angered by the way Luvelia has been treated. Now, Peter unleashes all his powers and defeats the beast with multiple slashes of his sword. Everyone celebrates his victory, but his powerful display only reinforces to the ogres that they must get impregnated by the stud boy. Peter and Luvelia are happily reunited and then he heads back to the inn for a refreshing bath. However, he experiences his inner beast waking up again, and then Vegan arrives to mock him. Peter doesn't want to lose his manhood, so he begs Vegan to break the curse, but she insists that the only way to do so is to impregnate her. To make matters worse, Luvelia is in the neighboring bath. She strikes up a conversation with Peter regarding the village and its hot springs. She invites him to join her so that they can have children and it makes Peter excited. but then he also has to deal with Vegan's curse. After a lengthy conflict, Peter reluctantly refuses Luvelia's request, and then he has to bow down to the elf girl. She happily invites him into her arms and he gives in to her desires so that he can cure his body. As expected, he regrets the decision instantly. The storm nears the kingdom and Albatross laments his daughter drifting away from him. He goes crazy and swears to get even with Peter, so he summons his foe and mentions that the Orkland has sent a marriage proposal asking for his future offspring. Albatross mentions that Mr. Babe has requested to meet with his daughter Piglet Pancetta, as he was impressed by Peter's fighting skills. However, Luvelia arrives and remains confident that Peter will never betray her. Much to our hero's dismay, Peter decides to go along with the facade, as he knows he won't find his marriage partner attractive but is shocked to see that Piglet is a very attractive woman. Mr. Babe and Albatross left as they leave the couple alone so that Peter can fall into their trap. Piglet is shown to be very shy as she hasn't been with a man yet, so he tries to consult her. That's when the plan goes further as an evil trio of goons harasses the princess. Peter easily defeats them and takes Piglet away, after which he calls her cute. This drives her crazy and then she takes her savior around town for a fun day later. Peter calls out the elders for scheming against him, but then they force the issue and make him stay the night with Piglet. Temperatures rise as the princess is made to consume an aphrodisiac, and Peter panics, while the evil king laughs away in front of his advisor, Goodman. Peter remembers Luvelia and tries to resist Piglet's charms, but she refuses to yield and attacks him in bed. Peter manages to explain the situation to her, but it makes the princess cry, so he reassures her of her beauty. Peter calls upon his Zen techniques to help with the temptation, but he loses his composure and gives in to his desires without much of a fight. Our hero laments that he's unable to control his excitement, and then he tries to figure out a way to hide this fling from his enemies. Piglet wakes up and he tells her that she shouldn't reveal their union to her father because this is all a part of a political plan. She asks for a few moments to consider his suggestion, and then it's time to spill the beans. Peter grows anxious as the others press Piglet for details, but luckily she states that they didn't get intimate. However, she did feel an undesirable connection, so she requests the baffled lords to transfer her to the guild where she can serve as Peter's slave. Our hero regrets what has happened, especially after Piglet shows her dark side and aspires to give birth to his child. At night, Peter's newest heir member cooks a delicious meal for him, but then Lisa, Mimi, and Vegan get jealous of the new girl. They get into an argument and then Vegan is smacked down. However, Peter acts like a gentleman with her, and this makes the ogres even more furious. Piglet tells them that she's fine with being one of Peter's many mistresses, and it pushes Lisa to summon a Gape who was able to quantify which one of the girls can get their boy toy the most excited. Lisa and Mimi score high. Even Piglet matches them, but Vegan doesn't do well and the girls begin to fight. Peter calls upon Tim to help him out, but he only suggests using alcohol and gets the girls drunk. Despite his best efforts, he wakes up the next day and learns that his excitement went so high that it literally killed the agape. Now the girls decide to prevent such a thing from happening again by creating a treaty for the allocation of his essence. The problems keep mounting on Peter as the girls get into a detailed discussion regarding the treaty, but also argue over the details. He is against this contract but is forced into the arrangement. Much to his dismay, the treaty comes into full force as time passes by. Peter finally gets a day of rest. He decides to spend it with Luvelia and they enjoy a fun day with each other. They enjoy a wine and dine experience, after which they call back to their older days. But then Mimi shows up and causes an uproar. Peter tries to keep her quiet, but she blackmails him, so he has to entertain her for a quick session in the washroom. However, this doesn't end so easily, as Vegan and Lisa also betray the rules and exploit him. While Peter is gone, Luvelia gets drunk and calls back to the time she was saved from an overpowered monster by her current fiancé. Later she bids him an awkward farewell, so Peter tries to stop her but is held back by his harem. His beast is put through an arduous schedule, and then he cries next to his bath. Then he's greeted by Piglet, who offers to wash his back for him. She expresses concern for her master, but they end up violating the rest day treaty again. The other girl shows up and gets into an argument regarding Peter, after which they have another party with him. Peter rebukes them for their madness, but they treat him as a casualty, so he runs away into the rain. He can't keep up with his current life but is unable to leave it either. Then he meets a warrior ogre named Antonio Spartacus, who offers to listen to his problems. That's when Spartacus mentions that he also has come to the guild in search of the woman he loves. Ogre motivates Peter to fight for his fiancée, and he feels a lot better. However, he is shocked to learn that Spartacus is searching for Lisa, who is actually a princess. Peter rushes to his mistress and demands to know if she is a member of the royal family. He is saddened to learn that this is the truth, and she also mentions that she is the heir to the Augustine throne. At the Yakupachi Warriors Guild, a girl named Michai meets Spartacus and falls for him as he asks about Lisa. Then the ogre runs into Mimi, who greets him and happily reveals her sister's location. Spartacus is glad that all of his efforts have finally led him to the woman of his dreams, but he is devastated when he sees Lisa getting busy with Peter. He gets angry and destroys the room, after which he attacks Peter, who has nothing to defend himself apart from a banana. Things get tricky for our hero, But then Lisa puts a stop to all the unnecessary violence by commanding Spartacus to stand down. Now, Mimi explains to Peter that the ogre warrior has had a crush on Lisa ever since they were kids, and he's been chasing her all this time. Spartacus begs Lisa to return to her land as the soldiers need her help. However, she maintains that she will not return unless she is carrying Peter's child. Her savage response saddens Spartacus, so he challenges Peter to a duel so that he can prove his strength. That's it for this video. Second part will be released soon and will be pinned in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Peace.